So pure, you are my everything and more. So sweet, like honey, your lips, girl, I adore. And baby, that body's more than perfect, the best I ever saw. And I ain't even close to done, it's just the beginning, so let me tell you first we was. In my bed, baby, you was loving my love and I had you going crazy. Oh, it was your body that I had to try. I told you my touch gives you a rush that you can't deny. Girl, I got this feeling, stronger than Marvin gets sexual healing. So let me give it to you and only you, cause you're that special. Know that you're special, just like the wind. I'm in love with your body, every piece of you.
Good evening and welcome to another episode of Cigar Sundays Live. Tonight, Cigarden's panel discussion is about the word wealth. In American culture, the word wealth has been applied to other areas of people's lives, not just the things related to money. We want to know if wealth is good, bad, or misunderstood. So sit back and get ready to exchange insights with the Cigarden Panel. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DB Chef TV, always joined by the God Ali Dawood L at BKSOLFARM, and I am JAZZGARCELLE, and we are the Cigarden Panel. Peace, family.
Peace, God. What you dealing with?
Beautiful Sunday.
Hell yeah.
Beginning of the week. You know, we was talking on the back chat, was getting a lot of stuff done as far as you know, things that make you feel good, you know. Things that make you feel good. Doing some painting and some homes on homes. I was getting my whole homes on homes going on this week. So
I feel you, bro. I ain't get a chance to tell you. I started building my rabbit cages and whatnot, right? So it's about to be litty, bro. Twofold purpose, meat and fertilizer, right? Like, so it's going down.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. You got the rabbit cages coming too.
Hell yeah.
Funny. I remember I had some rabbit and gravy for
Hell
breakfast.
yeah.
It's on the rabbit cage. Yeah. Shout out to Grandma and Granddaddy, but putting that one together.
Shout out to Grandma and Granddaddy.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, family. So hopefully JAZZGARCELLE will be joining us shortly. She can get, I know she got some technical difficulties, but
we're gonna hold it down.
Meantime, in between time, we're gonna go ahead and get into this evening's show. And tonight we are talking about wealth. And we have 3 questions this evening that we always go to when we do Cigar Sundays. If you're new to the show, first make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, you know, leave a comment if you like what we got going on or you don't like what we got going on. Let us know something, you know, interact. Also, the link is in the chat if you want to pull up, you want to join the conversation, you know, please do join the conversation. We want to know your insights as well. We want to know what you think about these things. And yeah, so we have a good time. We have fun. We use a Merriam-Webster dictionary. We use a Google search and a Wikipedia search, and we define this word. We try to get the most accurate definition or up-to-date definition of what it is currently, you know. And then we also talk about its relative meanings, and we just have fun with it. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go ahead and get into this evening's questions, so we can know what we gonna how we're gonna be shaping this conversation this evening. So this evening we have 3 questions, and question number 1 is, what does the word wealth mean to you? If you in the chat, if you watching, let us know. Share what it means to you. We can discuss that too. Question number 2, can building wealth have an effect on a person's future? And our third question, does a person have wealth with no assets? And we may have to go and define assets just to give our viewers and ourselves in tonight's conversation, something a little bit more accurate, so that way we can correlate if they even go together. So our first question this evening, starting off our conversation, what does the word wealth mean to you? Peace, God.
Yo, peace, God. Yeah, that's peace. Yo, so for me, wealth is an abundance of the stuff that you need, right? So whatever that is, right? And I'm talking about vices and to include. That's when I say everything, to include all that you need, because I'm one of those type of people that don't try to limit how people live. So, and I don't try to judge somebody else's lifestyle. So whatever it is that you need for your life, if you have a steady, ready supply of that, I think that you have obtained wealth, right? So that's what I think it is having what you need when you need it at all times.
Having what you need when you need it at all times. That's dope. I like that. Man, well, this was interesting because coming up with this actual this word this evening, I realized that like I hadn't even really like kind of even defined it for myself, like as far as that having what you need, when you need it. Like, and I'm so used to wealth being associated with money, or in a dollar sense, or something that's equated to something with money related, that I was like, man, I know that we equate health to being with wealth, and so there was one that was health being equated to wealth. But I always put a health in the mindset of like without your health, you can't get wealth. So you have to be healthy enough to be able to go and get some wealth. So it's been, that cliche, but it's never been, I never really had like, what does a wealth mean?
It's that word you just said, God, cliche. Remember our regular conversation? You remember like folks look at the word regular and and think that it's beneath them. It's unnecessary.
Right.
It doesn't have any real value. So we say health is wealth, right? And we say it. We
Right.
don't we don't understand what health is, and we really don't understand what wealth is, right? And but we say it because it sounds good, and we say it because it's true, right? Like the problem with cliches, or the word, at least for me, with the word cliche, is we dismiss it because it's so simple, or it's too simple,
Yeah.
right? Or it's one of those known knowns that, man, everybody know that you ain't said nothing slick to a can of paint. Oh no, a can of oil,
To a
not
can
paint.
of Earl. Yeah.
Right? And the reality is they told you something that's true, and you should just accept it for that, and just build on that, right? So it's more than money. It gotta be, right? Because the wealthy don't look like they got money.
I mean, it's looking like, but is that look wealth? And that's what I'm talking about. Cause like, okay, so like,
Ooh,
so like, and I don't, and that's why it's had a different like meaning to me, because like, I don't look at it like, okay, because you drive a Bentley and because you wear $500 socks, and $2,000, $2,500, $5,000 shoes, like, you're wealthy. I don't look at that, as wealth. I look at it like you're able to spend a lot of money on dressing yourself, you know, but I don't see that as wealth, because I know people who do it, and their employment, matches up. And then I know people who don't do it, and they,
who do it and don't got the money, but
you know,
they're like Doughboy. They going to the store anyway.
yeah, like, I mean, they doing whatever to keep up that,
You
to
know,
dress how they want to look how they want to look. I say it like that, because if I say keep up the image, then it's kind of like
correct,
like slight hating, but it's not.
correct.
I'm not hating. I'm just saying that's the look that they like, so they want to keep that up. So they do the things necessary to do that. But I still don't look at that as like, well, I even look at them. My judgment towards them is just like, wow, like, you could really have the real stuff if you took something different with that money that you spending on that. And who are you having that for? But I guess they having it for them,
Yeah, my perspective changed when I was stationed in Hawaii, right? Uh, my wife worked at Bank of America for a while, and I used to go, check out on lunch or whatever. And what I used to notice is, like, we both notice the same thing differently, but the same exact thing. All the wealthy people, like the people that got bread, like that no money mother, like, they never look like it. Like, the cars that they drove to the bank was like super regular, right? Like they was like beaters damn near, right? Their clothes were super regular, like nothing about them stood out. And I looked at and these are all quote on, I'm gonna use the word locals, meaning they from Hawaii, live in Hawaii. I don't quite necessarily know they
How you know
ethnicity,
they had money though?
because Chris used to see their account.
Oh wow.
That's what
Oh,
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She worked in Bank of America.
so they had M's. They had M's.
Yeah, they had bread, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's like, see that, and me and the wife, the wife is gonna talk to you, right?
No, 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 no. It's confirmed. It's confirmed. I got you, God.
Right. And
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. And when I see these cats, and I'm like, see, we spending all of our money trying to look like we got money, and all of these cats I'm looking at, don't none of them look like they worth, like, if you like you're gonna rob them, you'd be looking like you be trying to get them money at the end of the day, because they look like they ain't got nothing,
Man.
right? And they was loaded.
Man, that brings back a memory. This girl tell me, why you always walk around looking like a bum? Looking like you about to go paint something or something. Like, I'm just like,
Safety first.
who do I need to be trying to impress? Like,
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
really.
bro.
I took that money and actually invested it, the one you talking about, for the clothes. So,
Yeah, bro. So yeah, nah, that's when my perspective changed, because I used to think it was all about money too, and I'm like, but he don't even look like he got money. Like, why he? And it was too many people, too many examples of that for me
so
to be like,
looking like money, you can look like wealth. So looking like, so a person looking like, that's what that is. That's that persona is, or that image, the perception or the, I don't know, the reality of it is shit. It's because people will see it and think something of it, right? So that's a reality we in.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ye. Everybody say he crazy, but he a billionaire. You know, he became a billionaire while being crazy.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
Apparently,
Elon crazy too, you know.
Elon crazy too, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think everybody got a little craze going on
All right.
somewhere up there. You know, you got to be handling too much. He responsible for a
Yeah,
lot.
but what I'm saying as far as the image go, neither Kanye nor Elon would be the image of what we would think somebody wealthy would look like or act like, right? Like we would think they would always be like they would walk on air, so to speak, right? Like
I
but
don't know,
here,
is that rich or is that is that
see
is it
how
so
see
do rich people act a certain way that wealthy people don't act? Because that's where
see when I go back to my childhood, right? To my project minded self. For me, so I guess rich and wealthy was the same thing,
okay.
right? I know the difference now, so I gotta go back in my mind to remember a time when I thought differently, right? And I just think that rich and wealthy was the same thing, and I also thought that somebody again, right? Like if you had the bread and you had the resources, because of the circle of people that you was automatically around, it automatically made you act like them.
Okay.
What I thought them acted like.
Okay.
Hoity toity and everybody was like, you know, Cinderella at the ball and shit like that, right? Like um but a Ye and an Elon would turn your perception on its head, and now people will start calling billionaires dummies and saying
Mhm.
they're not that smart,
Okay.
even though they still got billions of dollars. Why are you calling them dummies? All right. It's
I
it's
mean,
it's kind of
everybody's entitled to an opinion, right?
it's kind of like the appearance or the illusion of the president. At one time, there was this image of a super military minded, stern man or person, right? Or I guess it was always a man, and then it shifted to something looser and comical, and now Mr. You got fired, you're fired becomes president, and it becomes something that you can mock freely, openly, all day, every day. It becomes laughable, right? Um, Still the president of the United States of America, but but also a laughing stock, right? The image of it is changed.
Yeah, it's definitely free game out here now for you know, for people to be able to, you know, make comments and stuff like that. I mean, that's good. I think, you know, censorship to a certain point is bad. Like people should be able to make comments, express how they feel.
Yeah.
But one thing you said though, guy, you said that it's like having, you know, what you need when you need it. See, and I'm thinking rich is the same thing because that's what I'm that's where like I've been on the, I mean, we're gonna get into the definition, but I've been on rich and wealthy as being the same two things. I haven't really put them in a category of their own. I do know that it's different levels of having money,
Correct.
you know, so you can be a millionaire and not be a billionaire,
Correct.
you know, but having what you need or what's required, you know,
At
when
all
you need
times.
it, I think millionaires and billionaires have access to that, you know. So that's why it's always been for me like looking at rich and wealthy, it's like what are we really talking about? Because the generational wealth thing just came up. You know, like I don't even know who brought that up, who brought that word, who made it pop like that.
Yeah, but generational wealth is. I apologize to cut you, guys. Generational wealth is a response or a reaction. That's a call, kind of like Black Power, right? Black Power, the phrase Black Power came about as a response to the phrase white power.
Right. So what did generational wealth come along to?
Generational slavery, generational trauma is the antithesis to our slavery history, so, or quote unquote, right? Is another
So it's what has been, so it's
is a
being described as what has been denied or stolen or
correct.
withdrawn. Okay. So the generational wealth is actually like part of repair, part of reparations.
I don't want to say that.
Okay. I mean, but
I
how
don't,
is it not? If it's
no,
not
no, no,
synonymous
no,
with the
no,
other
no,
thing,
no.
how is it
So
not?
I don't want to say it's synonymous with that because I'm saying that was the impetus of it. That was the beginning of why people started using the word or using the term. It
Okay.
it e-
So
it, e- it evolved into the real words, to where people actually started thinking about financial literacy, or at least attempting to think about financial literacy and stuff like that. But what I was saying is it started as a way to reinvigorate Black people to unite and not be so divisive and hide their money, right?
Is generational wealth started for niggas to not be crabs in a bucket about some
the
money?
term the term the the term
Man.
the term is how we use it today, right?
And
It's how that got started.
shout out L. Henderson, man. He said impairment
Please
of
God.
generational wealth was topic. Okay. Impairment of it. Okay. So yeah, like it was impaired. I get it. It was, you know,
Yeah, right. Like that was exactly right. Like, cause
I'm just gonna
it's
say
like
that. I'm just
like
gonna go out on a limb here.
reparations was how the term came about, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
through the conversation of reparations, it was like, yo, son, like that's mad like 40 acres and a mule. Like that's generational wealth that we could have had that we lost out on. They said
right.
they was gonna give it to us. Boom, boom, boom. They got a couple extra years on us. Uh, in Texas, like that's a couple that's generational wealth that they got. You know, that they built off us for 2 years extra or whatever. Like they talk about Tulsa, right? And they talk about the generational wealth that was lost and stolen from us. They talk about all the flooding, it, like all that. They look at it is why the term generational wealth is, which is also the problem, right? Like you said, God, because is attached to such a negative, traumatic event that only has so far is only presented negatively, right? We don't see the positive stories of our history, right? We stick to the negatives, we stick to the assassinations, we stick to the deaths and the murders, to the stoppages. I don't want to use the word failures, I want to use the word stoppages of our progress, right? So we use generational wealth as a way to keep us lazy, right? um because we really don't talk about it for real, right? Like, because I say it all the time. For every look at the kids that's around you, right? Whether they're yours or not yours. If you're talking about creating generational wealth, you're talking about leaving something for the people behind you to continue, so that the resources stay available. When you look at the youth that's around you and you try to build with them, or you build with them, if they're interested or not interested, can you still create generational wealth with people that's not interested, or that don't share your vision, or don't see the goal or the purpose, right? Because when you die, those same children that you leave behind get to make decisions on whether we sell this thing or keep it going for our future generations,
For
to
our
keep the
grandkids and
keep
our
the to keep the generational wealth going, right? And that's the and that's why I say it is a trick, right? That's why I say it started off the reparations talk, but it evolved while still holding on to the slave mentality of this is why we talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, that's tough. That's a tough one. But it gives me clarity now though, because I was completely unaware that generational wealth, that slogan, that saying came about from talks of reparations and that in the reparation conversation. I did not know that. So it makes sense to me now why so many Black people aren't concerned about generational wealth. because because it's a touchy subject. It's rooted
Super touchy subject.
in a touchy subject, in something that people have not truly healed from, and it's constantly, the narrative gets constantly reiterated every February, consistently, and those conditions that the people that go through in them stories have not been compensated, but also the people of today aren't experiencing them same conditions. So things that are rooted from that still play a part and effects in the people that are here, even though they aren't going through those exact same conditions.
Correct.
So because people are not, because of some of them conditions, all right, and I'll just say that just the whole education system, period, like regardless, to take it off of that, to take it off of just the slavery conversation and put it on the American cultural education system, because there are white people who do not have financial literacy as well.
A lot.
So looking at that, since everybody going through the same education system,
Yeah,
like
a lot.
uh, yeah, like it's, and people being uncomfortable with their own personal finances already, like unable to talk about things openly, freely, and be very guarded and all that other stuff. Slow to get help, slow to learn things for themselves, slow to apply things that they've learned that may be beneficial. It's a lot of things that people do, I think, that hinder their own access to wealth in all areas, like we talked about
Yeah.
in the beginning.
Yeah, and it's all stemmed from what you said, from not healing or still being in a process of healing from the traumas of the history of slavery, right? Because you got some of us that don't recognize that even happened. You got some people that don't think we came from Africa. You got some people that think we always been here. Like, so whatever the story is, and that's part of the problem too, right? Like the trauma, we can't agree on the story because it's so painful, right? And it's hard to say this is our foundation, this is what we're gonna stand on and go from here.
Yeah, that shit is like generational wealth. Like, you know what I'm saying?
This is hard.
Like,
Yeah, like it's
whoever, like, it's just another thing that I'm like, I always love the things and the ideas when people try the new stuff. Like, okay, let's get, because what it did was it did allow some Black people to start to focus on, to be identified of what, to now identify what wealth is, to consciously make an effort to say, damn, do I have wealth as a part of my life? Even if it is correlated to, even if it was birth or the inception of it was from uh the slavery conversation, like the other people who have applied it now, they might have stepped their game up and done some things, got some life insurance policies when people was running out around here with no life insurance, start looking at having buying property and getting into buying real estate and things like that, so they can leave things, trying to leave, because those are the things when we look at from the wealth that wasn't given, the 40 acres and a mule, then it's like, then you need to be out here trying to get you some mules, and mules are like life insurance policies and other, land is land. God ain't making no more of that. So once you get some of that, you need to hold on to that. Like it's never gonna be no new edition coming out. It's never gonna be no new fresh, no new releases. So, if getting that now like sparks some people to do that, then that's good. That's a good step in the right direction. But I think that all the shit is a shot in the dark trying to get everybody to collectively agree on some shit when Black people just haven't agreed on one thing.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
why I said, right, that's the problem with generational wealth, right? Because it's good to say is a easy what they call it, a low hanging fruit to excuse your laziness, right? Because the reality is when you look at the children behind you and around you, are they going to continue to do what you're doing? Are they going to keep it going, right? Like, or are they going to sell it, right? Like I'm in so many Facebook groups where all these farmers got all this, like, hundreds and hundreds of acres of land that they like, hey guys, I got all this land, I got 300 acres of land in over here in Tennessee or wherever, and I don't know what to do with it. I got this offer, should I sell it? And everybody's like, no, don't sell it, don't sell it. And he's like, yeah, I really don't know what to do with it. My family tripping, we need the money. And they sell 300 acres of land like every day,
Crazy.
right? And I'm like,
What was he saying? He said a family need the money, right?
they need the money.
So that just mean that they don't have their finances in order, family. That's what that means. Because if not, then like everything would be on accord. Like,
There's a lot of people, God. There's a lot of people that do that on a regular basis. And I'm like, you got 300 acres, you go live on them.
I mean, taxes gonna go up, but but it's agricultural, so you gotta learn some of the tax, some of the ways to utilize the tax codes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is a wealth of information to go and get that. Then that's wealth, because then you can help other people. You could charge them if you want to, but you can definitely teach your family.
Imagine your great granddaddy taking a mule because somebody said, yo, as much as you can walk and plow this land is gonna be, that's yours. And your granddaddy went out there with this mule and plowed 300 acres, right? And passed it down to his kid, and now your kid saw, my man, we just gonna sell this joint.
I mean, this shit really happens though, family.
No, it happens. It happens. That's what
it really happens.
which is why this conversation is important, right? Because I know we're not talking about the term generational wealth, but that topic, it happens so often, right? It happens way too often where man, it sucks. Like, it's like almost come to like what you working for real, to where it's like all your hard work would just go away. And if you ever get that thought, it's like, damn, can you really get generational wealth? Like, can you actually get to wealthy at all? It's a trick you got.
Nah, that shit ain't a trick. You can get the wealth because
you can, yeah.
And this is why you can get the wealth, because of realizing this. First and foremost, you can't take none of this shit with you.
Nope.
Nothing. So I don't care how good of a job you do or how bad of a job you do. That shit, whoever got to deal with that, if you know what I'm saying, you got to deal with that on the other side. All right.
That's true.
Now, that's why it's not a big deal. We're here, we're able to. So, it was like when you had said, when you had said about growing things, about sustainability, you know, and correlating that to wealth. Like that's why it's like, and I said, yes, we gotta do that. And we should do the other desks and A and B and C and D because we can. It's not so much about, you know,
Have to.
yeah, it's not even about the have to. It's not even about the, you know, the oh, I'm doing more than you doing type shit. It's none of that. It's just we can, like,
And that's
you
the
know, it's just
real generational wealth right there. Because we can.
because we can,
Right.
like talking
That's
about
we can
those
pass
things,
we can pass that down. Right.
right?
That's something that can get passed down, that can always get passed down, like that won't hurt because we can. If you're looking and breathing, if you woke up today, right, you can.
You can try, do something. That's
Because
it.
we can. Yeah.
You know, so
That's dope.
and looking at, you know, that's how I look at it because we've given wealth different meanings, you know, like we've, you know, and we're gonna look at the definition. We get ready to go to the definition right now, y'all. But we've given it so many meanings, you know. We talked about that opening the show, like how it can't be defined as just one thing. In American culture, we don't define it as just one thing anymore, just, you know, in relation to money. We look at wealth in your relationship, wealth in your health, wealth in, you know, your communication, wealth uh in your aspirations, you know, like all of these things take some form of currency, you know, which is you and the effort that you put into it. And if you successful at these things, which you will know by your result, then the credit goes to you, you the doer of the work.
Facts.
You know, and to me, that's wealthy. You know, I have a cousin who likes to compare down, and I had to tell him, I said, bro, like I don't compare myself down. You
Compare
know,
down. What's that?
comparing down is like, well, most people don't have this, or most people, or
Oh,
some people can't do that, or some people can't do this, and because I subscribe to the idea that unless God bless all our people out here with disabilities and special needs, unless you're born special needs or you have a disability that prevents you from comprehending things, physically moving, you know, or any other such ailment, then it ain't no fucking excuse. Except for you just don't want it bad enough. You don't want it, you're not willing to try hard enough to do it. You're not willing to try at all. Fuck being hard or trying soft. You don't want to give any effort into it. So those lack of actions tell me that a person does not care about it. You know, they don't care. It's not important to them, and that's fine. But if you care about all the things that you care about, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna put some effort into it, you're gonna put some energy into it, and you're gonna do it, man. Like, ain't
because
nobody gonna be
yo,
playing around.
the person is actually trying to obtain and secure generational wealth. You know what they're not saying? I'm doing this for generational wealth. I'm getting generational wealth. I got generational wealth. They're not blaming generational wealth. They're not always talking about generational wealth. They're not talking down about, man, this is why we don't have nothing because we don't work together. This is why. Not the people that are actually uh, trying to change their circumstances are actually out there playing in the dirt. They actually painting their walls. They actually are doing the things that they need to do to make their situation better. They not sitting around talking about it to somebody else and not doing anything. Everybody that's talking, that's what I'm saying. Like they use generational wealth as a way to be lazy.
As a way to be lazy. That's crazy. Because if that's the core, if that is accurate, God, then it's like, then all it is begging. Hey, we need this because you ain't do this, and because can't do it, man.
All it is begging.
All it is begging. Like it's Man, I'm not gonna turn nothing down, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. Like, I just don't really have no faith in it. Like, I think it's doable. Give a lot of money in foreign aid. It's a lot of what they call earmark programs and all that other stuff. I would say it's there, but we ain't worried about it. We're gonna focus on the wealth that we can focus on, what we do have. Let's go into this word wealth this evening, y'all. We've been talking about it, and you know what? Real quick, we had just been talking about question number 1: what does the word wealth mean to you? So we were just going over that and breaking it down, what it meant to us, and got a little bit, on topic. We still keeping it moving. So let's check out this definition real quick. Wealth. 1, it is a noun, abundance of value, material possession, or resources. 2, abundant supply, profusion. 3, all property that has a money value or an exchangeable value. 3B, all material objects that have economic utility. And then 4, where they have obsolete will and welfare. Welfare. That's crazy. So I'm going to come back to here, because this is where I kind of want us to focus on right here. When we begin to go into our second questions, all property that has a money value or an exchangeable value. I think that's going to be very key.
If you're a landowner, you wealthy.
Yeah, and then we're gonna pull up our Google, and Google told us it still has it as a noun: an abundance of valuable possessions or money. And they have similar here: the state of being rich, material prosperity. Then they also have plentiful supplies of a particular resource. Okay.
This implies rich and wealthy be the same thing, bro.
I've always thought so.
Right.
I've never really put them in different classes. Yep. So we're gonna pull up the Wikipedia and run through this. We have Wikipedia right here. We have wealth is the abundance of valuable financial assets or physical possessions, which can be converted into a form that can be used for transactions. This includes the core meaning as held in the originating Old English word will, which is from an Indo-European word stem. The modern concept of wealth is of significance in all areas of economics, and clearly so for growth economics and development economics. Yet the meaning of wealth is context dependent. All right, y'all. I'm messing up reading. Let me get it together. All right. A person possessing a substantial net worth is known as wealthy. Net worth is defined as the current value of one's assets less liabilities, excluding the principal and trust amounts. At the most general level, economics may define wealth as the total of anything of value that captures both the subjective nature of the idea and the idea that is not a fixed or static concept. So we're not going to go too much further into that. But they gave us a little bit more. Wikipedia gave us a little bit more insight as to the origin of the word and to economic definition of it.
But they also
You know,
put right after that, yet the meaning of wealth is context dependent. So
yes,
I think that's where health is wealth come in, right? And wealth being attributed to other aspects of livelihood or life.
yes, yes. That's what we talked about in American culture.
Yeah.
People apply wealth to other things. You know,
You know what I was thinking when you said that originally, American culture. You know, my question for about the last 5 years, I've been having this thought. You know, what is the definition? Like, how do you know you wealthy? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know you made it? How do you know that you won? Like, what is the number, the benchmark, the line you got to cross to say, all right, I have arrived? And I don't think there is one, but I think there might be a formula based on what you just showed a couple of seconds ago.
oh no, I think you had the formula, God, when you said, you know, having what I need, having access to what I need, you know, when I need it.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like yeah, I think that's the formula, you know, because either you can get it or you can't, you know, or you have to. And I think that like it doesn't have to be instant. I think that you know you can saving up to be able to get something that's cool too. You know,
Correct.
making a plan because it teaches you how to be disciplined. And you know, it's like I don't, you know, I don't need to get everything right now. You know,
That's another thing too, right? Like for whatever reason, we have it in our head that if we had to save our money for it, then we really didn't have it, right? And instead of thinking like because we saved our money for it is why we have it.
yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead real quick and jump into these synonyms real quick on wealth. We have it as in assets, the total of one's money and property. And then we have assets, capital, fortune, money, riches, funds, things, worth, possessions, prosperity, holdings, resources, savings, opulence, success, substance, finances, abundance, wherewithal, fluence, wallet, acquisition, personal property, personality, reserve, nest egg, ascension, bankroll, paraphernalia. They was locking people up for paraphernalia. Chattels. What we got? Treasury, valuables, deep pockets, baby.
Yeah, now that I think about it, it would make sense to lock somebody up for paraphernalia because they got more than what they need. They're trying to sell it to make a little extra money.
Nah, but because paraphernalia is like what you would have, what they classified in the courts is like stuff to use to get high. That may not be the actual drug, you know.
Mm,
It may be some residue in your like a bowl, a pipe, or something like that, you know. Like that's
mm.
paraphernalia. That ain't
Thought maybe I'm thinking about contraband.
actual the actual substance, you know. That's ridiculous. But as in loads, a considerable amount. Oh, loads, plenty, ton, abundance, slew. I got a slew of them. A dozen, quantity, lot, chunky, deal, pile, bigger pile of money, bunch, raft, bundle, stack bundles, stack them stacks up, hundreds, a marauder, gobs of money,
Gobs.
eat, plenitude, profusion, mountain, volume, multiplicity, a boatload, a truckload, a basketful, a fistful, a yard, a whole yard. It's gonna cost you the yard right now, but I'll let you go for the 75. Shipload, thousands, carloads, lashings, barrel, peck, mess, sight, bushel, scads. I got scads of bread. Somebody be like, what? What is he talking about? Store, much, pot, sheaf, sheaf. I like that. Chief, you could almost put that as chef. You could, culturally we can change the words. I might switch my name up right there, y'all. It might be Chef, Chief, Earl Pearl. It sounds Arabian. Pack, plenitude, uh, spate, plateful, lashings, surplus, flood, excess. We're gonna go ahead and get into abundance, an amount or supply more than sufficient to meet one's needs. An amount or supply more than sufficient to meet one's needs. Based on what the guy Ali Dawood was saying in relation to wealth, this seems like a perfect correlation as an abundance, an amount or supply. This says more than sufficient, but you say sufficient enough to meet one's needs, So that's having wealth.
So yo, they had super abundance on there, bro. What the hell is that? Like how much stuff did you got? How much more stuff can you have to be? How much abundance can you have to be super abundant?
Way more than you need.
God damn.
I mean,
It's like you might only need like 2 orange trees, but you got a whole orchard. Like, yeah,
well, no, because now are you selling them? And then how big are you
right,
trying to make your
right.
business?
Like that's what I'm
You
saying.
know,
Like, what the hell is super abundant? Like,
I think you can scale that. I think that
yeah,
scales. I
yeah.
think that scales. If I just need 2 in my backyard or side of the house, wherever I got them for us to eat them, as a citrus fruit and whatever else we do, we want to, put some together and whatever else, like, yeah, fresh juice and everything else. And that's all we need for that. That suffices. But if I got a business, if we want to make orange juice,
Mm.
then how many trees do we need?
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah. And
Hell
that-
yeah.
and that becomes the significance of that. So
I'm sorry. I was thinking like this wealth conversation and thinking about these young folks, or not even just the young folks, just this current thought process in this generation being on microwave and instant gratification. Um, everybody want the most without having to do very much work at all. It's kind of strange.
yeah, it's the wildest thing ever, but I get it. I get it. Everybody want the quick route. I'm just like, what is the quick route?
And I want the consistent route. I want the for sure route. I want the route that is gonna always
Be regular. I need a regular route.
like 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 the quick one might be right now, and that's cool for right now. But what happens next time? I'm gonna need another right now, and without a regular right now. And that's the thing about having a job, right? I talk shit about having a job about it not being enough, which is true, right? Because you still need to be able to provide food, clothing, and shelter and the protection of that for yourself. And having a job does not guarantee that. It helps to facilitate a little bit, but if you don't have any capabilities, abilities, or know-how, um, like you up shit's creek, right?
What you talking about, guy? You unemployable?
Nah, like I'm saying, like, because you can lose your job, but you still got to be able to eat. So if you ain't got no food growing nowhere, like you stuck, right? Like if you got something in the house that need to get repaired, if you always got to pay somebody to do it, like you coming out your pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars all the time, so eventually you're gonna get stuck, right? Like even with clothes, right? Like I know it's old fashioned to think about making your own clothes, but at the same time, these kids are coming up and making their own clothes more and more every day, so it's not it's not wild anymore, right? Everybody's is trying to make fast money and coming up with brand new ideas. Like this is the time where you can make all kind of moves, really, right? So I don't know, man. It's like so it's kind of twofold, right? In terms of wealth, like having a job is a steady supply of money, right? Is an abundance of what you need.
I don't. Okay, so I'm not gonna play semantics on words, but I am.
hmm
Okay,
I'm double-minded with it, is what I'm saying.
right? But we just gonna clarify because a job, no,
hmm
a job. I do not think a job will sustain food, clothing, and shelter. I do think a career can, but I do not think a job will.
I got you.
And the reason why I say that is because even though job and career may be correlated in some fashion,
hmm
like specifically where we at nowadays, like, and especially I got a job. It's just a job. So there is no commitment to it. There is no investment in it. There's no self-investment in it. When it's just looked at, it's like it's a job. So if I just got a job, then I'm not going to try to uh find out what else they offer, how I can move up here, how I can advance in this environment, how I move from the floors to the fries at my job. And that's just an example. That's not,
That makes sense.
you know, but usually when you have a career, like in different instances, like when you're in that, then like you're already focused on trying to reach a certain growth
Level, yeah.
and level in that.
Something you wanted. Some is a space you're trying to be in.
Right. So you have a self motivation. There's a level of self motivation that's applied to people who tend to um, have careers versus people who go from job to job to job because they're not really looking at trying to have that stability of that paycheck, which careers bring versus the uncertainty that jobs have. Because a job would just, in some careers too, like it's some people but we've been hearing about layoffs that have been going crazy lately since last year. And I'm looking at like a lot of the employers may be treating these positions as like these are jobs. That's why you keep hearing them saying these are jobs that can be
Correct, not
re-
careers.
refilled by AI. You know, they're not saying a career people that actually have to program the damn AI. Like they act like AI just do its own thing. Like like nah, it's some people who
AI is already smarter than us.
it has to take orders from a human. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
so,
nah, you're right.
so definitely if we're gonna have the conversation about the people and the wealth, it goes back to what we were saying, man. Like you just gotta want it, and whatever that version is for you in what area of your life that you consider wealth to be, you gotta want it. You gotta and actually work at it on a daily basis. Like it's just not just set it and forget it. Um, E.L. Henderson said impairment of generational wealth was topic. Oh, we seen that? Didn't we seen that one
Yeah,
earlier?
no, he had another one right below it.
As you said, you can build wealth by selling the quick route today.
See,
Yeah,
and yeah,
yeah,
and the key word is build it, right?
yeah.
Like
But the
that's
quick route,
yeah,
selling the quick route.
yeah,
But there is no quick route.
yeah.
You
But
see?
you can get 1,000 people in the auditorium for $100 to hear you sell it.
Yeah, that's if I had time to do all that. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah, like it's no value in that to me. You know, it's no value in that to me. Like,
that comment reminds me. I was watching. I was TDY one time, and I'm in a hotel and I'm watching something on the TV, and it was one of those boss go behind the scenes kind of thing. And dude was a real estate guy, And I'm looking at him, and he's having these classes, and he got 5,000, 10,000 people in the arena, in the auditorium, coming to hear him speak, to get classes, to get lessons. And I'm like, this is how he making his money. He ain't sold a house in about 10 years.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this is the real estate game right here, selling it. Selling the game is the
Yeah.
real estate game, not actually selling houses.
I mean, well, if you can get people to pay up and sign up for it, it's kind of like church.
It's kind of like church.
Like, I mean, hey, you know, but what I will say though is this, to this comment, right? You can build wealth by selling the quick route today. Okay. What I will say is this, is that investment conferences are not that. Okay. Like if like investment conferences that have been going on for years and years and years, like the Colorado Gold Summit,
Correct.
you know, like the defense contracting you know, convention, things like that. Like these things that have been going on for years and years and years, you know, they have these annual things. These things, they go and they telling you about areas of the economy that have trillions of dollars invested in them,
Mm-hmm.
that people constantly invest in, that these things are always happening. You know, you still have to go do the work, just like the guy selling you, you know,
The
the
class of
whole
the
real
house.
estate. Yeah, take the class, and you know, you still have to follow the rules in the class. But the difference is that they're not necessarily charging you to come and hear them. They may charge you to come to the conference, but you're hearing multiple speakers, multiple presenters. You know, you get to rub elbows with people. You get to see owners of other Fortune 500 companies, billion-dollar companies. You
A
know,
completely different scenario.
yeah, it ain't this selling you the quick route today. The all you got to do is
Like that's it. That's it.
all you got to do is, you know, like
All you gotta
you want to retire tomorrow. Listen to what I got to say. Like, you know,
I'm about to
and
leave my job in a few days anyway.
you know, you have people come in. I was working on something, and then I forgot about it, and I started doing this, and I got paid. And I'm telling you, you should forget about what you're doing too, and start getting paid. And I'm just like, I'm like,
And
wait.
that's how it worked. Just like that.
I'm like, wow. Did I,
Just,
did
just
that
like that.
joke just say I just forgot what I was doing and started doing this, and then now I'm
Yeah.
getting paid? Like, man,
And it's crazy that that's true,
yeah.
that you can get wealthy selling the quick route. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. But I don't know if that's wealth though. You know,
Nah, yeah, like nah, bro. Like that's
you
how we
know,
taking it. Like
I think you can get a lot of money doing that, you know,
yeah.
and based on the definition, anything that can offer, what did they say? They said anything that was all property that has a money value or an exchangeable value. So that property would be, you know, selling the quick route. The quick route would be the property
The intellectual property.
that the person will be selling,
Hmm.
you know. So if it's considered to have value based on the definition or an exchangeable value, then you know, people, they added a money value to it when they charged you. It had exchangeable value. All right. The exchangeable value was, I'm gonna give you this information. If you take it and apply it, then you can go and you could possibly do this. That's the exchangeable value. The money value is, I'm gonna charge you to come hear me tell you that.
Mm. Yeah, I want to say it was like 5 grand. Like people was talking about it. They spent like 5 grand to come to this course. And I'm like, but that was the money you could have put into the house. You could have just went and bought a house.
Yeah, God, we know we playing with it. You know what I'm saying? We meant that lighthearted, but we know there's value in it. The quick route is cutting the painstaking hours out they put in to learn in the field. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And that's the
Absolutely.
part, right? Because people always talk about, yo, you should write a book, you should do this, just tell me what to do. Like people want to, like nobody want to do all the work that you did to get to where you at, right? Like all that painstaking work, like nobody want to do that part. Like they don't even care about that part, right? Like the fact that you did it is like kudos on you. But how do I get paid?
That's it. That's it. That's why, you know what I'm saying? It's neither here nor there, but that's why it's difficult when you respect that opinion about a person, but they don't respect your position about it.
Yeah, it
You
is.
know,
It's frustrating.
you know, it's
Definitely
it's some sucker shit, to be honest,
frustrating.
be
Yeah.
frank. You know what I'm saying?
See,
But
I was-
when you understand that, you know what I'm saying, then that's a part of that.
That elevated. That
Yeah, that's
escalated
the
quick.
part of being that's the part of being elevated, man. Of literally being elevated on that, of meeting each other on that same level. Because it's like, yeah, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. That's how it goes, man. But people out here really working for stuff and take value in their hard work, you know. So it's not always going to be lightly received that a person can, when people want to receive the most work, I mean the most money, and do the less work, and have done the less work. Like, it works that way in corporate situations sometimes, but we also will see in corporate situations where an executive may get fired, but nobody else does.
Correct.
You see, so they may be the first to go. That them getting paid higher, more money in that situation may be because they have a responsibility to make sure that everybody else is doing the things that they need to do.
Correct.
And then if they don't, then the person over top of them may come in and say, this was your responsibility, hold them accountable. And now everybody, the staff's still there. Y'all got a new leader, so get used to it. What you liked about the old person is over.
Old project managers out. Here come the new one.
Here come the new one, and y'all been doing a great job, but that person wasn't, the perfect fit. So let's see if we can make this one fit. But moving on to the next question. Can building wealth have an effect on a person's future?
Hell yeah.
Question 2 tonight. Can building wealth have an effect on a person's future?
Definitely. Right. Like so just talking about it on a personal note and not on some generational stuff. Um, just having the resources to to be able to relax
Okay.
is beneficial, right? Be it in your backyard or your front yard, or being able to take a vacation when you need one, right? Which is significant other or dolo. Um, but they say money don't buy happiness, but it definitely facilitates it. Um, yeah, like when you have, I mean, just talking on resources alone, like when you have it, like you have a much more rewarding life. I ain't gonna say better, but more rewarding, right? You have access to more experiences. Um, typically, you have more exposure to things that you wouldn't typically have if you was living on the poverty line or below it, right? So yeah, definitely. building wealth. Also, right, like in the process of building wealth, like for a person that came from nothing and trying to make something different of themselves, it it limits their friendships, right? Maybe not limits is not the right word, but it reshapes the dynamics of their relationships, right? Because certain people will not be beneficial to their growth, right? Yeah, would you say the attaining of or the journey? So I'm thinking when it because the question was building it, so I'm thinking it's the journey, right? I'm thinking it's the you broke today and you making a plan to not be broke 5 years from now or to be broke in retirement. That's how I'm looking at it. Um, so yeah, that's how I see that, right? Like your circle of friends is just different, right? Like when you hang around broke people that's talking about all the things that they want to do all day, and that's all they doing is talking. You're gonna stay broke. You're gonna stay talking, right? You're gonna keep coming up with all these good ideas and not actually doing anything. But when you are in a process of building wealth, you surround yourself with a different circle of friends that are doing things, even if they are not themselves wealthy currently. They are putting themselves in the direction or in a position to be wealthy at some point, right? They're not just talking about what they're gonna do and at some point. They're actually doing it. They're telling you the stuff that they're doing right now.
Yeah,
So I think building wealth definitely uh changes or can change a person's future, their relationships and just their interpersonal stress and quality of life, so to speak.
absolutely, absolutely. I wanted to tease you with something you said. You said they say money can't buy love, or
Oh, they say yeah,
can't
oh, yeah, they
buy
say money can't buy happiness, but I say it can facilitate it though.
because yeah, that's it. I like the one where they say money can't buy love, but it can rent you some good.
I can say it can facilitate it.
Ah,
you
no,
know,
but seriously though, yeah, it does shape it can have an effect on relationships, and um I think it should. Honestly, it should have effect on relationships. Um on social media, like on one of those, I don't really have the clip to pull it, but like I seen this guy saying something like, um it may have even been Corey Holcomb. I don't know. I don't know if it was him or it was a preacher guy or somebody. It was somebody, man. It was a dark skinned brother.
to go from Corey Holcomb to a preacher guy, that's funny.
Yeah, it was one of them guys. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? The brother was saying, I didn't save it, but the brother said something. It caught my ear when I scrolled.
Ah, that's
You
funny.
know what I'm saying? I don't know. It might have been Umar Johnson. I don't know. Oh, y'all niggas look alike. I don't know. I can say that. I'm black. So, uh, so seriously though, but no, but the guy was saying, he said, when when you are trying to elevate yourself or you trying to move up, you can't really have people around you that you think are on your level. Like not that they are on your level, that you think are on your level. It has to be people that are there that can, that can be on that same level with you. Or else, like, them people gonna hate on you. That's all they're
we
gonna do.
we learned that in the military, didn't we? They told us when we advanced, like we can't be friends with our E3 friends anymore because now we E4s, right? We
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
They
that's went out the
they
window.
yeah, they say they gonna be jealous and whatnot. Yeah, they told
Coast
us that.
Guard ain't big enough for that. I think the only people who do that,
Uh,
who play that game, is officers.
for real, nah, that was huge in the Navy, bro. Like
Yeah.
it was like they pull you to the side quick and Chief be like, yo, fraternization. And he's like, I'm doing this to help you, right? Like that guy's not your friend no more.
Fraternization. Fraternization. You talking about the guy I work with every single day?
Hey, you coke,
Every single day.
hey, you
Like,
coking and joking with him, like, hey.
oh man, fraternization. That's where.
You supposed to be giving him orders and direction.
I mean, you're gonna do that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna do that. Like that's the job description. That has
Yeah.
nothing to do with just because I advanced. Like that's the job description. We here for that. If we cool, then we cool. Like, now I can't hang with you. Like that's why
But
I
you know what's interesting though? So I did have one
couldn't do that.
experience. I did have one experience where that proved to be true, and it was only the one experience, right? So it wasn't enough experience to say that this is a true statement. It was one guy that decided to you think you got a big head now because you got a promotion kind of thing. And I handled that the only way I knew how to handle that one. Right. And it got resolved and I never had no problems again.
Yeah.
But it wasn't it wasn't like they was telling us like, oh, when you get promoted and all your friends, my man said the army too. All your man's not gonna be your friends no more. All right, like it wasn't like that in real life, except for that one incident that I had.
Yeah. Yeah, we got told that, but I just, it's too small. It's too small in the Coast Guard for that mindset to prevail.
Hmm.
You know, like it's too small. It's too small. Like when you have, it's different when you in an outfit that you have, um, maybe 100 people, and there is 30 or 40% of you that you can identify with in some cultural way.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I was real
uh,
small.
when you are no, that's 30 or 40%. That's large in the Navy, Air Force, Marines, Army, but in the Coast Guard, you could be the only person that looks like you at your unit. Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
And you just retired. That's crazy.
yeah, you know,
That's crazy.
yeah. So if you at a unit where it's like 120 people and it's like maybe 7 of y'all, like you deep, that's deep. Don't let it be like
100,
14.
120 people. That's like a frigate. That's smaller than a frigate.
And
Wow.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you might 7 or 8. That's deep. 7 or 8 is deep. Okay. So that's typically how, that's why that wouldn't apply. But to the Coast Guard. But definitely can building wealth have an effect on a person's future. Um, yes, absolutely. Going to the definition in relation to the definition of what wealth is, um, an abundance of valuable material possessions or resources, and all property. And I really just emphasize on this one right here. All property that has a money value or an exchangeable value. Okay. And the reason why building that wealth is important because for a person's future, well, and has such an important effect on a person's future is because one of the things that God pointed out is when you get older, you know, what will you have for your comfort, to sustain yourself? And if we don't focus on these things, like aside from the whole generational wealth thing, just focusing on, okay, if you can turn your wealth into generational, that's cool. But just while you're here for the things that you create, for the lifestyle that you create, your habits, your desires, your wants and your needs, those things won't change,
Nope.
over time. So, it's either what, don't get comfortable with stuff, don't get comfortable with having something a certain way, or you actually do take the time and prepare yourself, invest in your wealth for your future, and whatever those things are. We're not just going to say the money aspect of it. We're going to say, okay, the money aspect of it, but then what do we correlate every other thing to? The wealth, your relationships, your communication, like all of these things should be thought about and considered for one's future. Like, especially if you're not doing anything right now. Right now, if you're not a person who is waking up every day, going out here doing something that's life threatening. Okay. And I'm not talking about like you work on an oil rig or something like that, because everybody gonna be on their P's and Q's. I'm not even talking about people who firefighting. Things happens. We love the firefighters, support the firefighters. They go out, they help save lives. First responders, all of them. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about if you go out here and you're doing something illegal, you're doing something that's going to be detrimental to the people you care about, people that you say you want to help, people that you say that you're doing that for. But but really, if you get hurt and the people become dependent on it, and now you gone, something happened to you. Now what happened? You just really did more harm to your people than you did helping them.
That's what I be saying, right, about generational wealth. Because if you are saying it forcefully with a fist, and the people around you, behind you, aren't interested, like you wasting time. Like not, I don't want to say you wasting time, but you missing out on opportunities that you could be spending with your family doing something that they may not necessarily want or need, right? Because they may want and need you, and you're away doing something else.
Yeah. I mean, and that is all situational too, because you could
Yeah,
be employed and you are absolutely making a sacrifice to be away from your family to
correct,
provide for them. But that's in a career. That's not a job, right?
correct.
And that is just like going to go work on an oil rig, or or going to go work in a what we call a,
You
a,
being
a hazardous work environment.
like a firefighter or something like that. Yeah,
Right. That's what we're talking about, a hazardous work environment. Okay. So
yeah,
we're not talking about that. We're talking about people just going and doing dumb stuff, crime, you know, uh, and anything that falls under criminal activity.
yeah,
We'll chalk it up to that. We won't nitpick nothing. All right. So those things, although a person may think that they helping out the people that they care about, that they do with the proceeds from their criminal activity. All right. If you get jammed up, then guess what happens? Now, them people were depending on you. And now
yeah,
you just really put them in a bad situation, because now they don't even know how to fend for themselves, And that's where we're going back to that part of the generational wealth is, and investing in your future is, because you can't invest in your future if you don't teach somebody else. All right. As far as the generational wealth, passing it down, you have to teach them the responsibility and
yeah,
observe and make sure that they are exemplifying the discipline to be able to carry it forward, and they know the value of it, so that way they can pass it down and do the same thing. They can be monitoring and
yeah.
looking, because it may not be you give it to your child. You may have to give it to a niece or to a
Correct,
nephew or to a
correct.
cousin or to this, but it's still going to be some things that, when you're saying investing in your future, in the wealth, it's still things that you have to develop as a standard to evaluate them, to know if they the ones that's supposed to get it or not, because it's going to
Facts,
be selection.
fact. What's that saying that like to your point They say, I gotta do what I gotta do to get what I gotta get. Something like that. I gotta the excuse that they use for their criminality is their family, right? Like
Yeah.
I had to do this for this reason, right? And to your point, the moment you do that, they are without you, right? So they don't like, especially depending on the age of the children, if there are children, uh like you gone, like you absent, any phone call that you make, they paying for. Any bonds that somebody put up, it's coming out of that, it's coming out of their resources, right? Like we gotta, if we can change, I gotta do what I gotta do to keep the things that somebody else did going, so we don't have to do you know what I'm saying? So we don't have to do the negatives. Like if we can just change it to from that saying, from a negative saying to like a positive, right? Because it seems like people only say that when it comes to negative things.
Instead of saying, I'm gonna do what
Eh,
needs to be done.
am I making sense?
Yeah, yeah. Now I gotta do what I gotta do. No, I'm gonna do what needs to be done the
Yeah,
correct way.
yeah. I'm gonna go out there and put myself in position to be employable, or do whatever I need to do in order to do what I need, right? Instead of pick up this pistol, or go rob somebody, or go do something quick for right now because my baby crying right now. And I'm like, yeah, so you're gonna go rob somebody right now, but your baby gonna be hungry tomorrow, and you're not gonna be here to go get that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's that instant gratification, that microwave generation, that is like yeah, it's hard. That's why I like that the definition was pretty much spot on. Like they talked about the abundance, right? I am curious that it did not speak of quality of life though.
Well, all property that has money value or an exchangeable value, um,
I guess it
wel-
is implied.
welfare, yeah, that's it. Because we give it that, even the synonyms were assets, means, substance, capital, opulence, wherewithal, fortune, riches, and worth, you know. So that's where I make it clear that, you know, that wealth is not part of my happiness. Okay. It's two different things. I had a conversation with somebody and they was telling me that time is money. And I was telling them, no, time is not money. Time is time and money's money, you know. But that's later time for that conversation. But
See, it's one of those cliche things to say, right? And we say it so flippantly, and with no real regard for the words that we're using, and we're just putting them together and thinking it makes sense.
oh, they tried to justify it. Trust me, they was trying to justify it to death. And I was just like, nah, family, because I could be spending my time and it has nothing to do with money. Nothing. Unless you just a money getting motherfucker like that. And if you're a money getting motherfucker like that, then guess what? You got your money working for you while you doing time, while you investing your time over here. So your money's still
Right.
working for you while you ain't paying attention to it.
Correct.
So that's the game we on. Like, so if I do go take time off to not be investing my time in making money, all right, because when I'm spending time making money, then yeah, my time is money during that. All right. I'm investing into the future of my wealth.
So that the work that you have already done is still paying off.
while I'm over here celebrating my life, you know,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
whatever other way that is, you know, whether I'm painting a wall, growing some food, enjoying my wife with my family, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it is, like that time is that time. And
yeah.
it's designated for that, to enjoy those things. Like time ain't money, family, you know. So once and I explained that to, like, you know, once you get hung up off of that, you know, then you will manage your time better, you know, and you'll be focused on the money part, because you know that I have to give my time to this
Correct.
for this money. All right. And that's the money time. The rest of the time is how you spend it. So, you know, so yes, I'm definitely on the mindset, or of the mindset, that it's important to invest in your future. To what was the question right here? Can building wealth have an effect on a person's future? I absolutely agree that am of the mindset that building wealth has an effect on a person's future in every aspect of it. You know, whatever your idea of wealth is, whatever a person correlates wealth to being, it's going to help your future.
Agreed.
So yeah, y'all. So we're gonna move on to question number 3, keeping the conversation going along. Does a person have wealth with no assets? Our third question this evening: does a person have wealth with no assets?
No,
And no.
no. So the first definition says abundance of valuable material possessions or resources. Possessions or resources are assets or liabilities, depending on where they are. Right. But but if you have an abundance of valuable possessions or resources, then I'm saying that those are assets. And yeah, in the definition, you got to have them, because without things, you don't have the things that you need, right? So you have to have those things. You have to have whatever those things are. You gotta have it, right? And or a way to get it, right? And something to trade for it. Like you gotta have stuff.
Okay. So God says you gotta have stuff. Does a person have wealth with no assets? That God said no, because you gotta have stuff. You gotta have assets. So I'm gonna say you are the asset. So to answer the question, does a person have wealth with no assets? I say you are the asset. There isn't a yes or a no. It's if you are treating yourself as an asset or not. Because as far as I know, the generational wealth is a ask or a beg or a request, of however it's viewed. But I can have wealth, and we all do it the same way because we correlate different things to wealth. So if I say I'm the asset because I'm going to go and I'm going to make this thing this, then what you said earlier, God, you got to do the work and create it. You got to build it. So if I got to do the work and create it, then I'm the asset that built it.
That's all facts.
You know, this isn't this right here. What we doing isn't AI.
Nope, you real. I'm real.
You know, and even if it was AI, like, then it still took me to sit down and, or the person, the human, to sit down and design it. You know, so it still takes the person to do the work. It still takes the person to invest in themselves. So that's why you are the asset. You are your biggest asset. Now, if you don't want it, if you don't want things in other areas of your life that you feel like are wealthy, okay, where you say, okay, well, wealth to me is being married. Okay. So if if wealth to me is being married, then I should be investing into my future, into that wealth. That could be that is a daily thing. I ain't gonna say that could be. That is a daily thing. That's a daily activity. All right. Well, every day you wake up, you put that energy, you invest that into that. All right. To build that wealth. Now, that's saying my marriage is something that's wealth. Now, how do I correlate that to the
Now you saying your marriages would be a valuable asset.
because that's what I'm saying. And that's what I was about to correlate to the definition. Exactly. Because that is a valuable asset. It's abundance of value. It's a material possession or a resource.
100% resource.
Okay.
I ain't shit without my wife, bro. I gotta be married.
I know that's right, family.
I gotta.
Shout out to the wives. Real talk.
For real.
So, you know, so if that is where I place the one of those things is wealth, because remember how we talked about in the beginning, you know, in American culture, we apply things to wealth to other areas. So correlating that union between myself and my wife as something being a value of wealth, then what I'm gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to build that.
Yeah.
That takes work to build.
Yeah.
Is it an asset to me? You know, yes, it's an asset. So you have to protect assets.
At all costs.
You know,
By any means necessary.
You have to value the assets.
If it's buying flowers, if it's doing dishes, if it's vacuuming the floor, whatever.
It's whatever need to be done. You know, because there's a value attached to it. It's wealth. When things are going the way you want them to go, the way things are happy and everybody's happy, you know, then that's why I say I separate the two. My wealth is different from my happiness. You know, by having wealth, I can be happy. But if I don't do the things necessary to protect the wealth, to protect the asset, then I'm going to be unhappy. So that's why my happiness is not wealth. You know, it is a result of the wealth. It's just like people go to work. I give people an example where I took it from. I got up, go to work, you get a paycheck. All right. Now, the whole time you at paycheck, you working. The whole time you on paycheck time, you working. So it don't always be fun. It don't always be happy. It don't always be,
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
you know, like it be ups and the day you have your days, right? But then when you get paid, you be happy as shit.
Hell yeah. All worth it.
It's all worth it, right?
All
So
worth it.
I just correlated that to the work that have to be done in your marriage. And then, you know, when we're happy with each other, when I know that we happy with each other, because our actions are reflective of it. You feel it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the reward. That's the happiness from it. You know, so I definitely, and that's just using that as an example, and people can correlate those things to other things in their life. You know, if it's your money and it's managing your finances, if it is your health and it's being on point with your health, you know, like you go on a diet, you lose weight, you put on that new dress, you put on that new suit, you feel good about, but look at all the things you had to do to lose the weight. You had to invest.
Oh, speaking on that, it's not so much just losing weight, right? It's actually being at a good weight for your body structure, right? Um, be it losing weight, gaining weight, whatever it is, being at a good weight for you, so you can be able to move your own ass around. You can walk a flight of stairs without breathing heavy and stuff like that. Um, so it's not because when you said losing weight, I immediately started thinking about um, the image of health, right? So because somebody went from being heavy to small, oh, you healthy now because you lost weight.
Yeah, but I use that because
I
it's
know.
it's more common than the opposite of adding a gained weight, because publicly nobody gives a shit about a person. You know what I'm saying? Like like honestly, like unless I seen somebody get real fat, like
Yeah.
real fat, where they was just like, damn, you used to be so small, you done gained a lot. You know what I'm saying? But like
That's crazy.
if you put on 20 pounds, nobody really gonna say too much about you putting on a dub, but drop a dub,
Yeah.
you know, then and you're gonna get like, you know, hey man, you been working out, you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah, that's true.
so it's just relative to, you know, people being more likely to correlate investing time into burning fat, burning, you know, losing weight, like going to the gym. It's the routine, it's the work ethic. I got to get up, I got to go to the gym, I got to eat right. It's a discipline.
Correct.
Those are the things that that you have to apply in order to be able to meet the goal. That is the investing in the wealth for yourself, for your health. I hate that it rhymed like that, but that's what it came out. You know, but that is the investing in the wealth for your health, for yourself, right? And that's the part where it's like, okay, that is something that people value as wealth, you know, being able to, as a part of their health, keeping their weight down, and you
Hmm.
know, or like you said, keeping their weight comfortable to where they enjoy
Yeah,
looking,
I want to focus having a healthy balance,
you know.
having the right balance for your body, right? Because people go into these diets and lose weight and die because their bodies is unbalanced, right? They went too far to the left or too far to the right, trying to look healthy instead of trying to be healthy.
Yeah, that's their fault.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, because they're just trying to lose a dub, and they'll do it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah, that's their fault. You know, and you lose so much weight, you died. Like that's the, oh no, we got,
dummy, should have ate.
you know, I don't know about that one. I know you can go a few days. You can eat every 3 days and you'll be fine. Like,
Correct.
you
That's
know,
true.
yeah, like you could do that and lose weight, and that's extreme. That's still an extreme fast, you know, but you could do that and you'll lose weight. You'll lose weight real fast. Um, but like you say, you do have to know what to eat, you know, because you investing in your health. So people who correlate that, losing, you know, losing weight or maintaining weight or whatever, the health to the wealth. All right. It's still the same thing as you do some work, you get a reward. And a lot of times when you're doing the work, it is painful. It isn't
Mhm.
always joyful. It isn't always the best of days. Some days you don't feel like going to the gym. You feel like going to go get ice cream, you know? So then you got to have the discipline to not go get the ice cream and to go to the gym. But the reward is whatever your reward is, whether it's a lower cholesterol score, you get in a dress or a suit, however
Yeah.
it look, you still have to do it. And that asset is the discipline. That asset is you, that you are investing all of that time and energy into, and it starts with you. That's the key thing that we want people to take from it, is that you are the asset. In relation to the third question, does a person have wealth with no assets? I'm saying if you look at it from yes or no, then you may overlook the fact that you are the asset. And I want people to look at it like, you know what I'm saying? I got wealth already. I got me.
And to your point, we are 100% not in disagreement, because you being an asset means that you have to do the work, and if you don't do the work, you will not benefit.
Absolutely.
Right? So again, the answer to the question is no. Right? Because if you don't do the work, then you're not going to benefit. Right? So like, you can't be lazy
Can a
and
person have
and
wealth without assets? No.
right, because you got to do the work. You got to put in the pain, and it is painful. Right?
Right. So if you're not willing to be an asset, then there is definitely no. If you're not willing to acknowledge yourself as being the asset,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's definitely no.
Because with you being an asset, that means that you don't get any days off for real. Unless that unless
Day off.
that unless that joint is scheduled and planned.
Well, I'm a Pisces. I tend to do that. I tend to do that, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
Tend to have I tend to not I got told one time I'm not spontaneous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm no longer with that person, but that was the first time I ever heard it about myself. Like, I'm not spontaneous enough. That's what it was. I was like, oh, okay. So you want me to be irresponsible. That's what you
That's what you want. Like,
you know what I'm
you
saying?
use the word spontaneous, but you mean irresponsible.
Right. You want me to
Use the right word, right? Use the
but
right word.
and what you're saying is I'm too responsible,
which is boring.
which is boring.
Because you're too responsible. You're gonna make sure the lights are on. You're gonna
Yeah.
make sure that the phone is always working. You're gonna make sure that the rent or mortgage is paid. You're gonna make sure that this food is always in here. You're gonna make sure I always got clothes. You're gonna make sure I'm always comfortable. You're gonna always make sure. You're gonna make sure. You're gonna make sure. You're gonna make sure. That's so boring.
I'm just saying, I mean, she was on the way to wife, but then she just turned herself to a baby mama. So have fun with that.
Have fun with that.
You know.
That's crazy, bro. Nah, you right. Like you are the asset, and that's why I say you got to win in their face, right? And to do that, like, you got to do it. Can't nobody give you anything and you say I won. It's like, even with the reparations talk, right? Unless you voted, like, unless you literally checked the box and said I'm voting yes for reparations, if the government or whoever gives us reparations tomorrow, what can you say that you've done to champion that, right? Other than won it,
Nothing.
right? Like, did you sign a petition? Did you start a petition? Did you write a letter to somebody? Like, what did you do to facilitate your repair?
I showed up and got my check, nigga. What
I
you want
showed
me to
up and
do?
got my check.
I showed up and
Right?
got my check, nigga.
Which
What you
which
wanted me to
which
do?
which is why the conversation is null and void, because and it stops at that check, because and it stops at, so what they're gonna do after they get that check.
What you mean? Louis, Gucci, Prada, Fendi, Hermes. What? And they giving it back. They
giving
going
it giving it
they
right back,
they giving it
right?
back.
Giving it
Italy.
giving it right back, right? And I don't know, man.
Everything, anything that got something Italian on it. I mean,
So you definitely lost me after the third name you mentioned. Like I've been so out of the loop with fashion, bro. Like
you know,
like
I still listen to some rap music. You know what I'm
not,
saying?
yeah. Well, I guess I don't like that.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
still.
because even with my clothes, like I try to wear my stuff with my friends' stuff, right? I try to
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Links in the
Like
description. By the way, you can get
I
this and what the God got on. Everything we have on right now is on sale.
real talk, bro.
Links in
Like,
the description,
you know,
plus
I
more.
I real deal try to support my interests, right? And my interests are my friends. So I'm copping that t-shirt, I'm copping that hat, right? Like it's just things that you just gotta do. I don't know, man. I'd rather like Louis, Fendi, what you say, Gucci.
Prada, Chanel, Mary, who else? Dolce and Gabbana. Who else? Hermes, Birkin. That's all the ones they named. Louis Vuitton, and
Yeah, nah,
you
son.
know that's
Like
the ones they
I
named.
don't know none of them.
I ain't get no check from nobody. You
I
know,
don't. I ain't been invited to nobody's wedding. I ain't been invited to nobody's. I ain't been invited to nobody's barbecue.
no nothing.
No,
Just
that I,
come get a $900 T-shirt. Come pick this cotton.
nigga with a hard er.
You know what I'm saying?
You
You
know.
know, I guess so. They could
Yeah.
have it. I mean, it looks good. I see some of the stuff looks good. I think my stuff looks better. You know,
Definitely.
I think the BK Soul Farm stuff looks better. I think the I am Jazz Garcelle merchandise is just better. Plus, it's ours.
Yeah.
It's ours. It's made by us, supported by us. You know,
Yeah.
so links in the
And
description, y'all.
links in the description. Every time I buy my own clothes, I make a little bit of money. Every time you buy my clothes, you help support me and my family, right? Like
Exactly. Shout out the Mogul brand too. Make sure y'all
shout
cop
out.
Mogul merch, man. You know, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's a family affair around here.
Yeah, family economics, man. That's how I gotta go, right? Cause that's how I came up with the whole family economics, right? From the concept of generational wealth. I'm like, what are we talking about? Right? Like how do we have a concept of a generational wealth if the families are not talking about staying together, working together, and building? Like what generation are we talking about? Who
Right. What
who
generation?
who is in a generation of people that we're talking about, right? Like who are we talking to? Right? That's why I say look at the kids around you, yours or just the neighbors' kids or your nieces, nephews, whoever's in your vicinity that's in your daily life, like that's your future for the most part, right? And do they want what you have right now? Are they willing to keep it going, keep them like even if they don't keep the same business going, do they have a appetite or an affinity to keep business going, even if it's not the same as what you did, right? Because like I farm, right, and when I transition, i- if my children took my farmland and turned that into a resort, I'm not mad.
No,
I'm not mad. I'm
no,
not.
no.
I think
Especially
I
if
think
the
that I
market.
think that I think that's the same thing. I think it's the same
Yeah,
thing as
yeah.
like they because they're using the foundation that I built to continue their livelihood, and that's my point.
Man, God, I just had a conversation with the OG about that because we recently had some land sold to some people that wasn't in the family, again, in our
Mm,
family.
mm,
And and I made that point exactly. And I said, like, it's not about me, you know what I'm saying? Like being able to have everything that gets sold. Nah, because like my intentions was never about me owning anything individually in the first place. you know, and that's a fact. Everybody know that. So what really disappointed me was the fact of the point you just made of how you said, if my farm is a farm and my children or grandchildren, whoever say, you know, I don't want to do farming, I want to make a resort, then what they didn't have to do was go find land.
100% facts. 100% fact. They didn't have to go do that.
They didn't have to start from zero.
They did not.
And if you sold it, you know, prior to your transition, not giving them the opportunity, then they don't have a chance to continue the generational wealth at all. They don't even have, they have to now try to take that money and go start somewhere else. If that was enough, if
Oh, they no longer have generational opportunity.
they have to start from the beginning.
They got to start from the beginning.
And if it's generational, then that means that it was passed down. And that is one of the, I know I was clowning earlier, but that's one of the stoic, honorable things about the word generational, that if people could find, if Black people in particular could find a way to remove that whole attachment from the trauma, from its inception of the whole slavery conversation, and realize the value of generational wealth, and also see the examples that have been set. Like, how you think the Kennedys got all that damn money? How you think the Rothschilds got all that money? Like, they've been practicing this stuff, you know, like before it had a name on it, before it had an inception from what it came from. This thing is, and the reason why it's been able to be generational is because one person starts it and the other people keep it going and keep building on it. Maybe it doesn't make sense economically to farm. It makes sense economically to build a resort because people are more dependent on grocery stores and food doesn't change. Maybe food just changes completely, but people just don't even give a shit about organic, healthy food. You know what I'm saying? They just want
food gonna turn into tablets.
a tablet. So I mean, shit, it's better off having a resort because they gonna vacation. They still gonna go to work and still gonna go want to hang out and spend money and eat different flavored tablets and shit in different locations, right? So
correct. And the goal would be, and my goal as the founder of this thing, right, would be that they see the potential in, not in the land itself,
in the ownership of
in
it,
the ownership of the land itself, not in the farm. We don't have a farm, right? We have an opportunity.
right? We have a place to build. We have a place to redevelop. It's called redeveloping. Okay.
100% facts.
We have a place, and we don't have to start from scratch.
It's already there.
We already have this part of it. Now we might have to do some work to get to the other stuff that we need. Okay. But
this work you don't have to do.
But this work you don't have to do. And you know, I just think that, like, you know, that wasn't, I know that's not realized. I didn't even have an expectation like from my family members, like, at all. But
yo, I think it's from this, it's from us on, bro. Like, I think if our generation don't bust the moves, then it's a wrap, right? Because the older ones, they still caught up in the family drama of the slavery trauma, plus all the remnants that brought about with all the molestation and all the rapes and all the incest and all the other tomfoolery that happens in families that split us up, right? That we have not dealt with or addressed or healed from yet, right? So when you got broken people with opportunity sitting in front of them to make a quote unquote a lot of money, real quick.
that quick money.
That quick money.
Quick money.
All right.
That quick money, that money don't go nowhere.
Which peep it, right? Because what the guys say, that quick money could be used to build wealth if the selling of the land was then flipped to buy, I don't know, a Burger King.
Nah,
No,
no,
I'm just saying. I'm saying if.
no. I ain't saying no, no. I'm saying you never sell land.
You don't you don't
I'm
sell it.
saying you never sell something what God is making, what God ain't making more of. I'm saying you could,
No,
we can go get a Burger King. We can put a Burger
yeah,
King on our land.
that's true.
You know, like why would? But I
You
got the
you could
land
you
already.
could put a Burger King on the land that you
Yeah.
already have. You right.
Yes.
You right.
I can
You
go
right.
from I can go from my dad left us, however many acres, and we had farming, but now we're gonna put a Burger King on it, and we're gonna put a shopping center on it. We're gonna put a shopping center with a Burger King, and we're gonna put a Starbucks in there and this, that. You see what I'm saying? But I don't need the land. I can get some investors to come help and develop and own and co-own, but we don't need a location.
We do not need a location. That's true.
I don't need to convince them on this location being a good, if it's other stuff in the area that you see people building up or things that's conveniently located that you can have access to, you got selling points, so for consumers. So, I mean, but you own the land. And that's the thing that's
Yo,
it's
this
like,
this this conversation be hard, right? Because like once you done came from a place, went someplace, and then look back to see where you came from and look at where you at and actually acknowledge where you at, your perspective is completely different. So having these conversations is tricky. Trying to put yourself in a position of not above anybody, but trying to be on the same playing field with everybody else is difficult because more people have not done the inner work to be retrospective, to find out exactly what they need for real. And a lot of us are still looking at TV and trying to keep up with the Kardashians,
yeah, they balling out of control.
you know?
Yeah, they balling out of control. But they have these decisions and these things all intact before people's eyes. Like it's keeping up with the Kardashians. It's not just keeping up with Earl Pearl. You
Word.
know what I'm saying? It's not just keeping up with Kim. It's not just keeping up with what's the other girl name, Chloe or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't
Yeah.
just it's
Yeah.
keeping up with the Kardashians. So there's another example. I don't always promote what I don't always agree with what they pushing, but the example is it's a family business.
Correct.
They value keeping the brand going alive. They value keeping the land fruitful. That's what they value. They value keeping their land fruitful. All right. Being able to adapt, make money, you know what I'm saying? Keep it wealthy.
Yeah.
Keep the wealth generating from brands to different things to expanding from, yeah, it might have started from one thing, but look what it is now. That's
Because
that.
you know being a money man, like you gotta diversify.
I mean, it's only diversification.
Like
Like it's
you cannot do yo, bro. I started doing aquaponics and now I'm doing bees. I got chickens, I got ducks,
right.
right? I do geese, like I do fish, right? Is a bunch of different things you have to do because one thing is not enough.
It's not. Especially now when we talking about if we talking about actual currency and money, like if we actually having a conversation based on the definition of in relation to money specifically, like it's no way, man. Like first off, the way inflation work, like you have to diversify.
Yeah.
The way inflation work, the way our money system is a credit based system. So in order for it to be more money, it has to be borrowed and loaned and all this other stuff. And then you have to have,
Oh
and then,
man,
and then they
said it,
preempt,
you got to say that again. God is a credit-based system, right? So,
right? The
so
debt based system to be exact.
in that base, you gotta understand that it's an uphill battle.
Always, yeah.
You have to really
Things
understand.
are going to continue to get more expensive.
That
I mean,
is an uphill battle. So there's no resting on your laurels at no point, really, right? Like,
well, I mean, you can once you get to a place where you have enough of it working for you that consistently gives you a budget that you are comfortable with. The thing about it is that that still needs to increase though, because and that's why you have to diversify because like just because like right now I like Fiji water, right?
mm-hmm,
Okay, so I might can afford to pay $2.88 for a bottle of Fiji water right now. All right, when I want a bottle of Fiji water, I might be able to pay $3 for it.
mm-hmm.
Okay, but I would be a fool to think that in the next 5 to 6 years, maybe 5 to 10 years, that bottle of water won't be $5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what have I done for my future, investing in the wealth of my future?
Because you short $3 right now.
Right, but I'm short $2.
$2, yeah, $2.89,
Right?
yeah.
So now what have I done what will I do? What will I invest in? What type of wealth will I invest in to make sure that in them 5 years I can still, or them 10 years or whatever, I can still afford that, but I can still enjoy that
You need to generate some money so that you can still drink Fiji water in 5 years.
you see what I'm saying? So you can't just go on a paycheck. You can't just go off of this what I make, because you're gonna get priced out of stuff, because your salary, your wage is not going to go up faster than the inflation.
No.
So we see these things, and then most people don't even pay attention to it because they don't have budgets. That's why they live in debt. So what'll happen is that it'll catch up and just, oh man, you see how expensive stuff is, and people don't start talking about how expensive shit is until everybody else talking about how expensive shit is. So
Correct.
at first you was just juggling, talking about like, man, I don't got enough money. Damn, blah, blah, blah. Why I don't have enough money? Why you haven't paid attention to where you spending your money?
Correct.
That's the reason why you realized that you ain't have enough when you ran into that wall, because you hadn't been disciplined. You didn't have you weren't aware of it. You weren't literally literate about your own spending habits, about the cost of yourself. So once people have that, you understand, like, man, you have to diversify. And we have so many different things. That's what we was talking about. Like, so why not learn to grow food, learn to buy. And my thing is buy Bitcoin and sit on your hands. Like a lot of people talk about buying Bitcoin, buying a whole bunch of it and this, that, and the third. Oh, no, buy an amount you can afford, you happy with, and you don't care if you lose the money. Okay. And just sit on your hands. It's going to keep going up. Is it going to go down too? Yes, but it's going to keep going up. It's a new thing. And the casino is open.
The casino's open.
We got ETFs and everything. It's legit now. It's a legit gambling casino now. It wasn't before. So nobody's going to get rich like they did the last time. See, what happens with the inflation is things get so much more expensive. So the buy-in is higher. So all these people who thought like, oh, I'm gonna buy this $2, all the people who think I'm gonna spend $3 and I'm gonna make $1 million. If you weren't and shout out to the technical savvy people, I'm gonna call y'all tech nerds, and all of those people who were on Bitcoin, like the inception of it, like about the technology, those people got rich because they believed in it from the beginning. Now you got to spend a lot in order to get in the game, so that's what it is. It's just like the stock market. They tell people invest in stock market. I tell people invest in stock market too, but you have to look at the stock market keep going up. It just keep reaching new highs, keep going up, keep going up, keep going up, right? Okay, so at a certain point in time, if you don't invest in it, it's just going to keep costing you more
to invest.
To start.
Yeah.
You see, so then it's just going to keep on looking like it's further and further away. Why? Because you won't start. You don't think that you need to. You don't think that there's a value in it. You don't think. Then just be okay with being broke then. Okay, just be okay with being with the struggle.
And
All right,
it's that simple.
just be okay with that, because that's not to say that a person might not have wealth in other places, but when it comes to being able to buy shit in America, you need money. That's the way they made it. We ain't make it like this. So the majority of people are not sitting back, growing their own food, raising their own chickens. They dependent on the stores. So if you are a person who's dependent on the stores and they're not offsetting your budget, then you have to diversify if you are investing. I also suggest that the people that's doing those things too, because we can. I don't think that they don't need to, because they still need money too for stuff. Especially if you got kids and stuff like that. They don't understand all that stuff yet. They want what they want.
Facts.
You know, if you want to go on a vacation, go on a trip, I can tell you, like, me and my wife would take a couple trips a year, and I started noticing how, like, prior to 2020, how, you know, how like more expensive the trips have gotten after 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where you might go, like, let's say, like, you go to Vegas, and it's just, you know, I mean, maybe $3,000 for all your accommodations and everything. Stay somewhere nice for a few days, you know. But now, you know, you talking about going to Vegas, them same accommodations might cost you, you know, $6,200 now. Them same accommodations, you know, where they've doubled. Same room, same hotels, you know, same food, same spots you enjoy, you know, but it's just double now, or you know. So how do you keep up with that? If you don't have some money making some money for you, then, like, you're not going to be able to at least try to keep up with it, you know. And assets are the biggest thing. So you got to have these assets. And I'm gonna drop a jewel for some people. I know it's a big it's a lot of people who don't believe in the whole gold and silver type situations, but I challenge people to look at that stuff, because when it's about diversification, it's about diversification. So it's not just limited to one thing.
And you're not talking about the pieces of paper, the certificates. You're talking about the real gold and silver, correct?
I'm saying pieces of paper too.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, because can't afford a piece of everybody can afford a piece of silver. You know what I'm saying? Silver only like $35 an ounce. Everybody can afford a piece of silver. Everybody may not can afford a piece of gold. I think gold's at around 26 or something like that for an ounce. All right. But everybody can afford a piece of silver. I recommend, but if you don't have no way to, you know, protect your silver or stuff like that, then you might not want to do that. But you could buy paper. So the thing is that if you look over time, all right, if you look at, and this the jewel right here, and this is why it's so important for people to take this shit seriously. All right. If you look over time, everything that you've had to pay money for has gotten more expensive. So if I go vehicles, maintenance on that, getting my AC fixed, getting my this fixed, getting every shoes, you know, toiletries, all of this stuff costs more, right? Over time, because we live in a debt-based system, credit-based system, the prices go up, inflationary base, prices go up. All right. But I'm spending money to use these things, and they costing me more every year. Gold and silver, though, keep costing more every year. So they keep going up in value. So what happens is that that's something that you buying that's going up in value. Everything else keep costing you more. So what's happening? The dollar's going down in value, but this is an asset that keep going up in value. So if I buy a piece of gold or I buy a piece of silver at $30 today, but then in 10 years, it's worth $100, $150, then it increased in value. But if I'm buying some toothpaste that costs $5 today, all right, and then it's 5 or 10 years now this toothpaste costs $10. That's costing me more money to use it. The same exact thing. How am I going to be able to do that if I don't make another $5?
All facts.
So things costing more money, but they're not increasing in value. And that's the point I'm making, is where the gold and the silver investments increase in value. So, your stock portfolio, it increased in value. Granted, there's no crash, and I ain't gonna say crash, I'm gonna say huge corrections, but I don't think that they want that. I don't think they want no huge corrections. I think they just wanted to just keep going up, because that's what it has been doing. No president wants a recession on their hands. They want the country to feel wealthy. That's what we're talking about tonight. So I absolutely do not think that, we're going to see no market crash. I think we'll see a correction. And even if we saw like a 25 or 30% correction, it still wouldn't be bad from where it is now. And that's just 25 or 30%. Now, it will be some fallout from other things that couldn't handle that. But I mean, that's people shit over leverage, so clean out the bad stuff and let the good stuff come on in. Let the good times roll. Like, it'll be some growth to be gotten going back up. It'll be some gains to make on the way back up. So that's why I say, like, man, whatever it is, property, real estate, a business, but never sell your land, man. Land is one of the most things, like, God ain't making no more of it. And that's why I put the emphasis on, even with the gold and silver thing, like, God ain't making no more of that. These are things like that. You can build a house anywhere. You can buy a house anywhere. House prices go down, go up. They fluctuate, And another thing for wealth too, I wanted to share with people is, stop letting people tell y'all that when you buying a house, that you've made this big old step in your life. Okay. Because people out here are leading with this, a path to wealth is home ownership. And so many people go into this thing thinking that, they think that, but then they don't have any actual literacy of home ownership and what it consists of. And your mortgage is not fixed. When your taxes go up, when your insurance go up, things that you don't have control over, that increases your monthly payment.
And you might have a fixed interest rate, right? But the taxes and the insurance, not fixed.
Yeah, and that's what we talking about. That's why we saying your monthly payment gonna go up. That's why we ain't talking about the insurance. I mean, we ain't talking about the interest rate.
Yeah.
Your monthly payment is gonna go up. And it's going to continue.
And insurance ain't got nothing to do with you calling it a claim or nothing.
Nothing.
Like, depending on where you live at, depending on the natural disasters that happen in your state, how many other people might have put in claims could make your insurance go up. Like, it's like those things are just gonna happen. And you gotta have the money to be able to pay that, or your mortgage is gonna keep going up.
Constantly. That's the way it works. Okay. So your mortgage payment, you going into buying a home, it is not the quickest way to wealth and all this other shit that everybody keep telling you about. If you don't know that, even if I do have a renter in it, the insurance and the taxes will still make the payment go up. And if you take out the loan initially, you're going to pay a higher interest rate than you will if it's for a single home that you're going to occupy.
Correct.
So you already going to start off with a higher interest rate, and we on the interest rate situation, So there's a difference, and it's good that people educate themselves on that prior to going in. And we drop this narrative of, oh, I own a home, I'm doing this, I'm big, that, and I'm bad, and I'm moving on up and I'm leveling up. Because you're gonna be on the
You got a whole new world of stress that you ain't never even thought about before.
Yeah, you're gonna be on a level of trying to keep that shit. You know what I'm saying? Struggling to keep it. Because you know, posted all them pictures and everything else and telling everybody how good your life is and all how fucked up theirs is. You know?
And real talk, taxes and insurance will make you lose your joint because your mortgage can go from 1,700 to 2,500
Easy.
to 3,500
Easy.
to 4,500, like in just a matter of a few years, and you didn't do nothing different. Like your mortgage payment is still the same, but your escrow just requires just a little bit more.
No, your mortgage payment ain't the same. Your interest is still the same. Like
Oh
you said,
yeah,
your mortgage payment has increased.
yeah, your interest payment's still the same. It's yeah,
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 your mortgage payment has increased. And that's what we said initially. Your mortgage payment will increase. And that is
yeah,
the key information to know.
yeah.
Because all the interest rates be fixed on 30 years. And don't get an arm. Nobody get an arm. Stay away from arms, you know, because you're gonna play yourself out of position. That means you already can't afford it. If you have to get an arm, you can't afford it.
That's true.
Okay. If you
That's
have
true.
to get an arm, then you cannot afford it. You are playing yourself and you're gonna be disappointed in the end. So don't post no pictures if you get an arm. Because people gonna be asking you what happened to that house you had and all that other shit. And
And you not being able to afford it doesn't mean that you're a sucker or a bum. It literally just means it's not your time yet. You just gotta save a little bit more money, right?
Yeah, all that and that goes with all that sucker bum shit. That's what we talking about, removing the whole mindsets of all of these ego centered things that are
Yeah.
associated with home ownership. Like you just paying your rent to the bank. And if you don't learn about amortization, then you're gonna pay for your house 3 or 4 times before you get to 30 years. So I also suggest so you don't be a sucker for that mortgage note that people go to calculator.net. This is not an advertisement or endorsement for calculator.net. It's just a free tool that you can use online. And I highly suggest everybody, if you have a mortgage, go there and use their amortization calculator. Go to the mortgage calculator and use the amortization feature and enter in how much you own on your home right now, whatever your interest rate is, and you will see how much interest that you're paying on your loan. And when it amortizes, and what that means is it will switch over from the majority of your payment going towards interest, and it will be going towards the principal. But right now, typically on a 30-year fixed loan, it's about 17 years where you're just paying, where the majority of your payment is going to interest.
That
And
sound that sound crazy, son. Like 17 years you paying on your you paying on your mortgage, and the whole time you really not you really just paying your interest.
correct. And then about the last 13 years of it is when you actually begin paying off the house. But if you're able to do it, you know, you can make a plan where you can pay that house off in 10 years, you know,
Correct.
and it don't take a lot. You know, you can do it in 7 if you know, 7 or 8 if you got the extra finances to be able to fit it in your budget. So, you know, like drop the ego shit, y'all. You know what I'm saying? That we just dropping a little juice for those, you know, people who may be thinking about, you know, they want to buy a house and, you know, they keep hearing all the, you know, they feeling deep down inside that, you know, like you're not accomplished if you haven't done this or you haven't done, you know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you're not accomplished in buying a house, but I mean, that don't mean that you ain't did nothing in the world that ain't worthy of being accomplished. You know, you accomplished other things, but like knowing how to do something and then doing and being successful at it, you know, is the goal. So in sharing that information, we would hope that some people would go and research it, you know, see how it applies. We're not the gurus, and it's not financial advice. We're not a licensed financial advisor. So go do the research and and see how it worked for you, man. Because I ain't gonna tell you nothing bad. Like I don't want people to be out here taking pictures online and thinking that they got something going on, and then you get a property tax bill in the mail, and now you got to pay more $100 a month that you just had not planned in your budget, and you have no way to address it other than to pay it or lose your shit. Cold world out here, man. They not teaching this shit in home economics. They teach you how to make spaghetti and shit like that. But the
How to
stuff,
make a cake.
yeah, but the stuff that you really need, the wealth of information that we truly need, it's not being shared
At all.
And
for some reason the idea is that you're supposed to be getting this at home. And to some extent I kind of agree, but being a realist, I'm knowing that at home is deficient as well. So how could they give you something that they don't have? So to have the expectation that you're supposed to get this wealth of information at home is kind of unfair and a little bit ridiculous.
I mean, I don't know, God. Like I don't know if it's unfair or if it's ridiculous, right? I do know it is. Well, I don't know if it's unfair. I do know that it is ridiculous. But I have to say this. It's people who teach in that school who don't know this shit.
That's true.
Like you could have somebody who a realtor who ain't never owned a house, bro. So like how do you even expect a realtor to sit there and tell you these things? Like they want to get their commission. If they telling you about like, oh well, like you all excited, yeah, we bought a house, and they like, you're gonna be looking good. They doing all this shit to hype you up because they want their commission, right? That's what they there for. They got bills and they probably behind on their shit.
You got realtors that don't even own houses.
Right. So if that is, it's not a requirement that you own a house. You just got to take the course, get certified. So it's not required that you have had experience in homeowning.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
That's why somebody 18 can become a realtor. Okay. So understanding that it's designed like that, that's the part that's not shared. That's the part that people don't realize because they see somebody in a suit and tie, they speak a little well, they smell good and shit, male, female, whatever gender. They selling houses, they doing their thing, and people think that like, oh, they know what's going on because they develop a relationship and they trust them and they feel comfortable. But the whole time, they ain't teaching you shit. They just trying to get their commission.
The whole time.
And I'm not demonized. I ain't saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that, man, like, who is there in between the people at school, right, who don't teach it in the curriculum, the parents at home who don't see the importance of sharing it, with their children or with whoever else is in they sharing that environment with.
Ooh, perfect.
Okay. And then you have the professional, the supposedly the professional person who just care about their commission. So like unless you do your due diligence to learn it, unless you actually jump in the fire, right, and then be like, damn, sink or swim, jump in the water and sink or swim, how you gonna know about it? Unless you tune into Cigar Sundays live, you know what I'm saying, and we drop these jewels and share, because that's what we doing, we sharing it.
Yo, you said about the parents, right? And what it got me thinking is they may not, so because of the way we look at wealth, they like a lot of times. So I'm gonna speak for myself. I ain't learned how to write a check at home. I ain't learned how to pay bills at home, right? But that was a whole wealth of information that was withheld from me. That's withheld from a lot of people. Like, what are the monthly household bills in a normal household family, right? If from whatever age in a child's life, if you start getting an understanding of okay, this is how much life costs. You know, you need to have this kind of career, or you need to generate this much money to be able to afford this basics, right, or whatever. It's like I don't know. It's like nothing is taught at home. Like it seemed like all the bills are kept secret. It seemed like like parents don't share the bad mistakes of, hey kids, you got to practice good credit card usage because credit cards are dangerous, right? Just because you can swipe don't mean you got money, right? Like you're taking out a loan and it's going to be at a high interest rate. Like it's a lot of we don't get too much conversation on finances, period. So to have any expectation, I don't know, man. It's just hard for me to just because a lot of us are not that smart, right? And we have kids, and the expectation of these not so smart people supposed to just be able to teach kids to be geniuses is like you said, where is the middleman? Where's the, like where they at? Which is why I say it got to be it got to be the school system, right? It got to be the thing. It's what it should be, the thing that touches everybody, that everybody got to touch in order to be able to participate in society, right? That has to be the norming, forming area. It can't be the households for things that's social, I guess.
God, I'm gonna say it has to be the households because the schools ain't doing it. So
Yeah, damn.
to desire something that is known to not do something is a level of insanity or stupidity by the person desiring it, my opinion, by the people or
I
person
agree.
desiring it to be that when the people who work there don't even want it to be that. And they just as they struggling just as much. Like the curriculum, being able to teach it will be able to benefit them because they wouldn't even know it because they don't know it. They struggle with it.
They don't know it either. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
see the benefit in this in having it, but I also see the others. Like I say, I see both sides of the coin. I also see
yeah,
it's more beneficial for us to just go ahead, have a conversation, casually chat about it, drop some jewels, put some stuff out here in the universe online, and if somebody listen to it and they pay attention, you know, and they go and they do the research and they like, damn, I ain't know I was in this situation. But now you can plot a course to be better in that situation, because you still in it. It ain't that you out of it. You still in it, but knowing how to navigate in things. Remember how we said, like, you get in the door, just because you get in the door, that ain't no celebration. You still have to, it's still work that has to be done now that you're in the door. So, so if people not going to do that, I don't know. Remember, I don't know if the school is the place where they're going to get it from, because even on the college level, like we talked about that on a college level, like people will go and become
yeah.
brain surgeons and and
Still
neurosurgeons
don't know shit about money
and don't know shit about money.
or
They
business.
just,
Period. Yeah,
they just make a lot. Their profession pays them a lot of money.
yeah,
That's it. So
yeah.
people will assume they have wealth because they're Dr. So and so, and they make this a lot of money. They make this amount. Oh, did you know they make like 200,000, 500,000? They make like 700,000. Oh, they make like 1.2 million, 3.4. I mean, we done seen these people lose money. We done seen it, and it's not to pick on NBA ball players or professional athletes or entertainers or anything, lotto winners. We've just seen with people not understanding wealth, not understanding money, not understanding currency, not understanding, having some financial literacy, basic things, budgeting, just how to budget. It causes these things. It causes these traumas and all these instances where we can refer to that are learning lessons that we can observe and say, okay, well, what can I do different? I'm not exempt from not going through it, especially if I want to own a house using that. If I want to own a house, I'm not exempt from my from interacting with property taxes going up, from interacting with insurance costs going up, to having to being responsible for the property in every way, shape, form, and fashion, you know, without being able to call a landlord and say, hey, you know, I need you to do this. So if you're going to participate, then you should be it would be ideal to have all of the necessary skills, you know, and information that you can, at least to have a good start, to get off like that foot through the door, to get off on the good foot. At least if you got the right skills, you can get off on the good foot. But we clearly see some people could just jump in the door, you know, and they think the foot good, but then they get up in there and they start sinking. Like, and now, you know, everything's soggy as shit. The walls are soggy. It ain't a good experience. And they like, damn, why didn't anybody tell me this? I mean, well, just think about it. You went to school, nobody told you. You was at home, your parents didn't tell you. You know what I'm saying? Or any other adults, you know? And then you went and bought a house and went through a whole process, sat in front of talked to a realtor for however many months, went and sat in front of lawyers and attorneys to sign all the documents, and nobody dropped no type of useful information on you that was going to be helpful for when you got in that situation.
Nope.
That ain't for you to be mad at. It's for you to be thankful for when you get it, and then you maintain it, and you got it, and you can apply the knowledge. You know, but to sit and act like that, damn, I went through that whole situation and none of these people were in a position to help me, you know, to give me information that would have been valuable, or even cared to, whether they knew to, or even if they cared to, they didn't share it. That's both sides of the coin. Some people who know and they sharing shit, and then there's some people who don't know it, so they can't share something that they don't know.
Correct.
You know, but if I got it, then I got wealth. You know, if I got the information, then I got a wealth of information. Now, what I do with it is going to be up to me, how I apply it, the result I get. And that's, everybody has that. Everybody can do that. I don't care your language or complexion. You know, everybody got that opportunity to do that if you want to. If not, then, you know, they got this word. It's called bums. It's called bum. You know, it's called a bum. Until that becomes offensive. Is that offensive, man? You can't call somebody a bum. Hey, you bum.
I think you just can't call homeless people bums.
You can't just call homeless people a bum. So a homeless person come up to you like, can you be like, get away, you bum? You can't do that, no one.
I think that's wrong.
Bum. What if you so what if you mix it up and you be like, man, why you out here bumming for change?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'm still offended. They still offended. Then can they sue you?
That's what I was just thinking about. Like, what does their offense amount to?
Man,
because they would have to call the police and like, yeah, can they sue y'all? Yeah, straight.
And the police come.
And no, they can't.
The police come and they detain me, or they arrest me for calling a person a bum, but they don't arrest them for loitering.
I was just
being vagrant with no.
I was just about to say, so no, they cannot sue you because it costs $50 to see the judge, and they don't have $50.
Come on.
Right,
because they bums.
Because they bums. They don't
exactly.
like they don't have the money to sue you in the first place, right? Like,
come on.
But yeah, so.
Man, the only people that I have respect for that are going through those things is people, like I said, people with psychological problems, you know. Yeah. And I think that it's bad that they out there on the streets, and one of the things, and let me say this too though. Veterans, of course, any veteran that's out there, you know. I don't think veterans have to be out there though. So I'm gonna say that because it's a lot of resources. So I think that that's part of a choice too. And the other people that be out there, even with the mental disabilities, the people that with the mental disabilities be out there, but they not so disabled that they can't take care of themselves on the streets. So, you know, that's why I'd be like,
Yeah, but they might be so disabled where they can't work around nobody else for more than 5 minutes.
but I ain't saying they had to work.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
I ain't saying they had to work. You know, I'm saying that like if a lot of the bums get checks.
That's true.
Yeah, like I just had a dude the other day come up to me and he was in well, I had two of them actually. I don't know. I was looking, I don't know, I must have looked generous. But 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 the guy walked up to me and but he didn't walk up to me. This guy rolled up to me and he didn't have any legs. So I asked him, I was like, are you a veteran? Right. And I was gonna give him some money because I thought he was a veteran. He was like, nah, you know, just you know, diabetes that took my legs and everything. And I was like, so what, you was on drugs? And he was just like, you know, I had a little habit or something, you know. I'm like, oh yeah, nigga, you still on drugs. So so he was like, man, you gonna help me out with a little, I'm just trying to get a bed or something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nah, I ain't got nothing for you, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like plain and simple. I don't got nothing for you. You know, now if you was a veteran, I would have had something for you. If you know, if you had lost your legs in war and something, it's not so much about him losing his legs. It's just like you've been doing what the fuck you want, bro.
Which is why you lost your legs.
You know what I'm saying? Like you've been doing what you want, bro. You ain't been being responsible for nobody else, bro, but yourself. You know what I'm saying? So the sacrifice you made for your legs was for yourself. You enjoying yourself, having fun. I'm passing judgment. I don't give a fuck. I take it up with God. You know what I'm saying? I take it up with my maker when I get there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I got compassion for different people in different situations. But I talk to people too, because if you want something from me, like you sitting up here asking me for some money, you know? So if you feel comfortable enough to engage me, then I'm gonna feel comfortable enough to engage you back and see where I'm investing my money, you know, even if it is for you to just get a bed. Like I ain't had no problem with it because the dude hit me up for change at the Wawa, and I was like, "What you trying to get a bed?" He was like, "Man, how you know?" I was just like, "Yeah, see, you can get that." You know, but I'm like, you up here bumming, you know what I'm saying? And you drugging, you just a drug addict and all this other shit out here. That's all you do is go bum for change from people, man. Like, and you get a check. That's why I asked him. I said, where your check at? I know you get a check, bro. You ain't got no legs. He's like, oh, my check. Yeah, nigga, your check. Where your check at? Yeah, where your check at? Oh man, that little check don't be doing nothing. I'm like,
That little check.
that little check don't be doing nothing. So, you know, that's where that person's wealth was. But tonight, y'all, man, we've been talking about the word wealth. And we had 3 questions. What does the word wealth mean to you? Our second question was, can building wealth have an effect on a person's future? And our third question was, does a person have wealth with no assets? We gave some great responses, shared some really cool insights. And like we always do, it's just been a very enlightening, fruitful conversation. And we come to that part of the show where we have to ask that question. God, wealth. Is it bad, good, or misunderstood?
I'm gonna say it's misunderstood in common folk talk. Is misunderstood. I think wealth itself is good, beneficial, but I think the way that we use it or the way that it's used commonly is misunderstood. But I think personally, I think it's definitely good. A good word is a good goal, is a good is a good road to be on, right? It's a good way to be thinking, good way to be living. But I definitely think that it's misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm agree with that. It's good and misunderstood. Yeah, that the misunderstanding part about it, I think is because we get away from the definition of the word.
Yeah.
Because we do meanings in American culture, we always apply meanings to words. We take words and give them so many different meanings, because we are not taught to keep the definition of the word as it is defined, you know. Then that's what makes it misunderstood, because it begins to get applied to other things. I do love the creativity that we do with that, you know, like that is an American cultural thing where we play with the words. You will hear people say it's confusing because we do that culturally. But overall, wealth is good. Wealth is good. Whether you put a prefix on the front of it and make it generational wealth, health wealth, relationship wealth, marriage wealth.
Wealth is wealth. Wealth is good.
Like, as long as it has that wealth in there, then according to the definition, it has value. You know, and I know that we value, that we put what do you call it? We make a sense of importance to things that we value. We place a sense of importance on things that we value. So yeah, God, that's all we got for this evening.
Hell yeah.
You know, we want everybody to have a peaceful, positive, and productive start to your week. Make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so when we go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live. I am Chef Earl Pearl at DB Chef TV, always with I am JAZZGARCELLE and the God Ali Dawood L at BKSOLFARM. And we will see y'all next Sunday right here on Cigar Sundays Live. Peace, family.
Peace, God.
Happy holidays from DB Chef TV. Get dipped in fresh drip with 25 off the entire website from now to January, with a huge selection and savings for every Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and Christmas list. Celebrate the holiday with DB Chef TV gifts. Visit www.dbcheftv.com and tap the gift shop link.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So BKSOLFARM.com, 1016, 160 self-sustainability. Jump on a list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Girl, we got that touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up. Similar to lightning bugs. Swear I never felt it, so it must be love. Girl, we got the touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up. Similar to lightning bugs. Swear I never felt it, so it must be love. I said lately, lady, cause I wanna take you down. Girl, I wanna show you what this loving's all about. It's our time, girl. I wouldn't waste another minute if my heart wasn't in it. Let me take you down, girl, and spread you on my bed and show you how I'm about to get. Girl, we got that touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up. Similar to lightning bugs. Swear I never felt this, so it must be love. Girl, we got the touchscreen love. Every time we kiss, I see your face light up.